Hello and welcome to Nonic Nonsense, a show where my co-host is no longer dying physically, just emotionally. I am Kat Gold.
I'm Michael Materdomini, and Kat is correct. If you see this giant pile of laundry behind me, that means I'm going into Tech Week. It's just God. We're
Would
here.
you would you like to talk about your absence for the past two episodes?
Yeah, so I've had really bad acid reflux, and it's given me like chest pains. But I've taken Tums, and I'm medicated, and everything's good. Also, the flu lingers. I didn't think it would linger as long as it does, but it does. So take care of yourselves, peeps. But yeah, don't get sick. No, Mom, I'm not playing video games. I am filming a podcast. It's okay. Visit me after, though. Love you. We can keep this in.
I want this in.
See, this is as real as it gets. We're doing a Q&A episode today. So we're about to get real. We got feedback from people who watched the show, and they sent in some lovely questions. This will be a cute little episode. It's not going to be some hour-long thing, unless maybe it is. You know, we'll see how in-depth our answers are.
Okay, peace and love. Please don't let this be like over an hour. I swear to God.
Yeah, so let's honestly just get into this shit. So, starting off with Alex Blanco sent in, you have an endless budget. What show are you directing, and who is your star?
Ooh. Show am I directing and who is the star? Hmm. That's hard. What would it be for you?
For me, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say, just for shits and gigs, let's do a production of Grease. Full blown, like, sparklers, fireworks, like the whole night, like the bowl. What's the California? What that bowl? Where's
Hollywood Bowl.
the Hollywood Bowl? We're doing Grease at the Hollywood Bowl, and we're
Mm-hmm.
bringing back John Travolta to play Danny Zuko, and then everyone else is just like the age that they're supposed to be. So it's this big old spectacle, as in like, John Travolta's return to Danny Zuko, and you go into it knowing that this isn't going to be a masterpiece, but with the budget that we're going to have,
Mm-hmm.
Grease Lightning will have like 9 cars in it. They'll be driving around on the stage. Like, it's going to be John Travolta's like Renaissance piece. That right there would be
Okay.
mine.
Okay. I
We're
think
not going with something classic, people. Not at all.
um let me think. I think
Hmm.
I would direct um hmm, I'm thinking not for the memes. I mean it earnestly. I think A Servant of Two Masters with or so, what was it? What's the updated version? Two Governors or whatever.
Yeah.
Servant of Two Masters, whatever, with starring Melissa McCarthy. I would find that very
Okay.
enjoyable. I think that would be very funny, and I think it'd be lovely to see a woman in that track. I want that.
Fair enough. I'm
So
also
yeah.
going to give Michael Ursula a fat paycheck to come in and play Vince Fontaine. I want to throw that out there. Michael Ursula is Vince. Good. All right, cool. Fuck yeah, Melissa McCarthy. I love Melissa McCarthy.
I
Love her.
love her, and I I think she's better than the shticky parts that she's been doing more recently.
I agree.
I want her to do, something better. As much as I love the comedy, I'm a comedy girly. Um, she is more than a shtick.
All right. So next up, we got Katie Marlowe.
Hmm.
Katie Marlowe asks, "How often do you fart on stage?" So I don't fart on stage like ever, honestly. Like I don't think there's been but hear me out. No, no, no,
Lies.
no, no, no. Hold on. I'm getting there. I haven't been like, oh, I need to fart. I'm gonna fucking let it rip right now. But that one night with Little Mermaid, I can detail you every single time I fucking farted. Like the opening number, Austin Carroll shoves me. I hit the floor. As soon as I hit the floor, I fart. After that, I'm coming down the stairs on the
Mm-mm.
ship. I am every step is a little one. After that, I grab Nate Promkle on the rock and I'm like, dude, mermaids are not real. And I'm walking off and I let another one rip. I'm not lying when I say this. Like this is at like verbatim what happened. After that, we go into Act Two. So we got a total of probably 20 farts in Act One. So
Hmm.
Freight says, do not eat Chipotle on a two-show day. So we're going into the scene where Grimsby is getting Ariel ready for dinner. And he has a bunch of maids on stage. I'll never forget this one because this one I feel bad about. Uh, I think Grimsby had to cross in front of all the maids and then make his way
Hmm.
off. I crop dusted the hell out of every single maid that was out there. I'm not. I'm kind of surprised that none of them like gagged on stage. Like it was bad. I felt it in the wings. I was like, God, this is terrible. And then after that, I farted when I hopped up on the chair during the chaos scene where Sebastian gets loose. I hop up on the chair as Grimsby. I let one rip there. And then after that, when I shook Wilkie's hand, who played King Triton, because he has a nice strong grip. He's a muscular dude. He squeezed my hand so hard I farted. So like it was really bad that whole day. But besides that, like I've never had to go to the bathroom during a show. I've never like besides like tinkling, like that's just normal little quick pit stop. But like I've never had the full urge to sit down and cry, other than that one Little Mermaid night for sure.
Okay. Um, I can't think of farting on stage. However, I do have a legitimate fear, and people know this that have worked with me. I have a legitimate fear of pissing and shitting myself on stage. I don't know why. I also have a fear of swallowing needles when I sew. So I've got a lot going on with me. But anyway, I do have a fear of pissing and shitting myself on stage that I don't know how to address nor fix. It hasn't happened, but I live in constant fear of it.
So what do you think your FPS is? Your farts per show?
Probably none, but I know I've got something going on internally, mainly in the brain space, but like none
No,
on stage.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Just constant fear of it.
Oh, here's a fun one. The next question is Christy Slavic. She asked, top three musicals you'd refuse to be in.
Number one, Dear Evan Hansen.
I'll do one. The Color Purple.
Oh yeah. Another
Yep.
one, Dreamgirls.
Number
Don't need to be
two,
in it.
you. How would you like to play Effie? That's getting cut.
No, no, no. We've talked about that story on this show. We can leave that in.
uh, number two, Annie. No, no shot.
Trying to think. Wait, are we not counting Dreamgirls and Color Purple?
No, we are. I'm because no. Okay,
Okay.
you know what? That's a
Okay.
joke. Annie, number one for me. I'd probably say two is Cats. Absolutely fucking not. No way. Not a zero.
Mm.
Um, and then number three. Hmm. 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 I really did not like Tuck Everlasting. I think it's terrible. So
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Tuck Everlasting. I don't think I would ever want to do it. So Tuck Everlasting, Annie, and Cats. Those are my three.
So number one is Dear Evan Hansen. I hate that show. I think it's like suicide pornography. I think it's
Yep.
gross, and I think the music is meh. Yeah, I think it's good music. I just don't think it works as a
Yeah.
show. Anyway, um,
Doesn't work as a movie either, Ben Platt. So,
I'd probably say number two is Newsies. Not like I play anything in Newsies. I just don't like Newsies.
fair.
I just, num- number three for me is Jekyll and Hyde. I don't like that show. I don't
It's
think it's a
better as a concert.
yes. It's
Yeah.
beautiful music, beautiful, beautiful music. Terrible show. Like, yeah, yeah. Those I guess those would be my three.
Fair. I respect all those picks. I really do.
Yeah,
Even though I do have a soft spot for my boy Frank Wildhorn. Only for his music though. Only for
yeah. The music is beautiful. I just think it, except for that fucking facade song. You know what I'm talking. You know
it's behind the facade.
stupid gonna go barf. What a dumb song. I literally wanted to lose my every time. I've seen the show multiple times, so many times, and I always forget that I don't like it. And then I come back and I'm like, but I know the music's so good. It can't be that bad. It must have just been like a weird production. And no matter how great in quality it will be and the incredible performances that people are giving, the show is not good.
You can't polish that turd. There's the title of the
Can't
episode.
polish that turd
Yeah.
with mom and dad.
Oh God. Next question from my good old buddy Tanner Foltz. Um, this is technically a question that like both of us have different answers to. So he asked what my favorite part of playing Danny Zuko was, and
Uh-huh.
then yours would, I guess, be because you saw the show. What your favorite part of my portrayal was of the character? So my favorite part of Danny Zuko, God, what a time to be alive at the Delray Beach Playhouse. Um, yeah, so I think my favorite part was working with Suzanne Dunn as a director,
Mm-hmm.
because she made me feel super comfortable in a role that I was like, I don't know if I can do this one. But she led me down a path of not only self confidence but like awareness of this. Like she's like, you're a nice guy. This character's not. Like
Yeah.
I know it's tough for you to play the asshole, but play the asshole. And it was fun because Danny, even though it's like it's Grease, he has like levels to him,
Yeah.
because he's conflicted with a lot of things going on, just like a high school senior teenager would do. Um, so like having Suzanne there to help me out and direct me and like filter me on a path of like how this character should be portrayed, but in my own way was probably my favorite part.
Mm, party. My favorite part of you doing Danny Zuko, uh, my favorite part of your performance was your wig.
Oh, you got me fucked up.
Okay. Listen. That was a tall boy. We gotta get Justin on the pod. We gotta
He
get
was he was teased and floofed that wig.
teased and floop, baby. Oh my god. No, no, honestly, like my favorite part was watching you and Danny bop around with those wigs, and I was like, yes,
Idiot.
you better. These two dummies with their gorgeous wigs. Um, no, I mean, I think it was fun getting to see you because we met doing Grease, getting to see you do a different track.
Yeah.
So that was enjoyable for me.
And hopefully one more different track. Cough, cough, wink, wink. Hi. Let me knock off all the T-birds. Oh God.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Moving on to someone who is like obsessed with this podcast. I've gotten videos of this person sitting down on their dorm room couch watching our pod on the flat screen TV that they have in there. Deb Katz from Lynn University um, asked what our top three favorite roles we've played.
Ooh, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Number one, it hasn't been beaten.
Uh-huh.
William Barfay. I love William Barfay. I love Spelling Bee. I've never dived into a character as deep as William Barfay, and I'm pretty sure he gave me scoliosis. Like people still to this day are like stand up straight, and I used to stand up straight before that show. So William Barfay, that was just a perfect show, perfect cast. Let's revive it, bring it back. Same peeps, just not in that space.
Yeah, yeah.
Two, I'd probably say Grimsby, just because not just like the character was phenomenal, but like the experience was. And that was like my first big role at Slow Burn.
Mm-hmm.
So he holds near and dear to my heart. And I mean, when I got offered Grimsby, I was like, I don't know if I could pull off an 85-year-old faux British Disney character. And I did. And he was fun and he was like the comedic relief. And I was allowed to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with a bunch of really fun moments. And I had people out there like that were like, when I walked out, they didn't know who the hell I was. And that they saw me, and I was just like, "Hello." And they're like, "You were in the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was the old guy." And they're like, "What the fuck? How old are you?" So that was a lot of fun. And then three, God, oh my God, I've been very blessed with like a lot of fun tracks and a lot of fun roles. Um,
Can I take a guess at what your three is?
yeah,
Gomez?
yeah, I would probably have to say Gomez. That was my first lead. It's a character that I would want to return to
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, um, just because of reasons we've spoke of before. But he was so much fun. I think Adam's Family as a show is great. It's such a fun time. Um, it's just that was a whole vibe. Senior year, lead in the musical, and just having the opportunity. Like Michelle Petrucci wasn't the full time director with that, but she was the one that really helped me get there. And shout out to Michael Larson and rest in peace, because he made me feel comfortable with that character. I even grew out the mustache for the audition. Like I was like, y'all know who I'm going for. So going into that, I was like, I don't know if I can handle Elite because never had a voice lesson at that time. Like I was just very, this is high school and this is fun. I don't know if I want to do this when I grow up, but this is fun. Uh,
Yeah.
and being the lead at a school of the arts, I was like, oh shit. Like, especially a kid that didn't go to Bach, the middle school of
Yeah.
the arts. So I just went to the high school, and having that journey of being like, because I wanted to be a band kid. I played trumpet. I auditioned for band first. Band was my number one option, and then acting was second. Acting was like whatever. I didn't care. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to mom for convincing me to do acting. But seeing a progression to that being the lead, and then just the growth as an actor, and he's a comedic role, so I felt just at home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's something that it was one of my favorites, and I know it's one of my favorites because I would want to revisit him. Um, and I think that's how I tell, because I would want to revisit Barfay, and I want to revisit Grimsby when I'm older. So I think that would be my three. So Gomez and Adam's Family, Grimsby and Little Mermaid, and William Barfay and Spelling Bee.
Okay. Yeah. Um, for me, my number one would be Yitzhak in Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I'm still waiting for an experience as incredible as that one.
Mhm.
Like I made trash money, but I got to do that show with one a person that was so close to me um as as my wife, and got to play live in a fucking punk rock band every night, and it was scary and powerful doing that material. I just loved doing that show. I would love to do it again, but it feels kind of like sacrilegious to do it again without Mike Westrich, because I
Yep.
really feel like we're like we're like eternally tied because of that show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, probably my second role that I really love doing. I love when I get to go on for Snow White and Disenchanted. Um,
That was, and for, I'm not trying to insert a pun. It was magical. Like that shit was so, sitting on the green room couch during chorus line, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going on. I just found out I'm going on in like 3 hours." I've
yeah.
never bought a ticket so fast in my life. I don't even think I had the money in my account. I'm pretty sure I went into the negative to buy that
Oh
ticket.
no, you should have told me. I would have bought your ticket.
No, no, no,
Shit.
no. I don't give a shit. I probably could have fucking texted Johnny and been like, "Hey," they would have let me in, but I needed to secure a spot.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so that it was fucking cool.
Yeah, no, that was pretty terrifying. But now that I've gone to do it a few times, I do love doing it because it feels, sometimes when you do a show and the dialogue feels like you,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I feel about Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Is like it's just an amped up version of me talking,
Yeah.
which is terrifying because Snow's such a fucking bitch. But like, but
Snow is a see you next Tuesday for
she's
sure.
she's she's nasty. But it does. I don't know. It just feels like me.
Yeah.
And then probably my third favorite was playing Holly in Next Fall. It was like my first professional play, and it was a show where I felt like I like my acting stood for itself.
Yeah.
And that's very important to me because before I started working professionally, I had done way more plays than I had done musicals. And I always thought of myself as an actor first, but I felt like I was trapped in the musical theater realm. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, like musicals make more money than plays. So like
Yeah.
that's where you have to go. Um, but doing that show, like a five, 6 person show, um, just acting for 2 hours, it felt really good that like I could still get like good reviews and like nothing had to do with my voice.
Mm.
So that was very emotionally fulfilling. So I those are my three.
Fuck yeah. W question, Dev Cats. Thanks for. I know you're sitting right now on your couch, so hello.
I
Thanks.
love that the Lynn kids are like so into this stupid fucking podcast. It really tickles my pickle. It
And
really
and while we're here, shout out my boy Frankie because I know he's watching too. He just got cast as Al DeLuca at Lynn University.
there you
So he
go.
played William Barfay and he played Al DeLuca. Next is Joe Marino in Witches of Eastwick.
Because someone else is gonna do that fucking show.
So shout out Frankie, shout out Deb. All right, cool. Moving on. The next question is from our good friend and first podcast guest, Tommy Paduano. He
Hey.
asks, "What is your craziest director interaction?" I can name a few. So,
Started off.
shout out Jonathan Van Dyke. My process with William Barfay was fucking crazy. I remember a specific text that he sent me one day after rehearsal, and he was like, "Hey, just pretend that you're carrying two heavy suitcases. Whenever you walk, two heavy suitcases." And I was like, "Oh, great." Scoliosis. And just that whole like that whole process, that whole vibe with him was like something I'll never forget. So and then the list of things that he fucking said is still on my phone, so that the next time I work with him, I could just continue that list on. Like, it's a Wednesday rehearsal when you have some tums. Just fucking, you know, I love songs about penises.
This whole
So
scene is cottage cheese.
this whole scene is cottage cheese. Magic Foot reprises "Where's the Cottage Cheese" in Publix. So that was all good. Anytime I work with our good friend Michael Ursua, it's a blast. I remember a moment with him when we were learning the tap section in chorus line at Del Rey this past summer, and like my brain shut off. Like I low key clocked out. Like I had tried to learn it, and I was like, "This is not going to happen tonight. I'm going to take it tomorrow, and I'm going to figure it out." But I went and I sat by myself in the side of the rehearsal room, and I saw him giggling with Amanda Lopez, like about me sitting down and just like zoning out. And I looked over at him and I was like, "What? What? What are you laughing at?" But anytime I get to interact with Mike is great, and then just like the countless like little names and like little fun things I have with Patrick is always great. Like I remember this one time in tech for Little Mermaid. Like I was known for playing Switch backstage, like a lot of the guys do. Even Matthew Karinko during Witches brought his Switch. So it was like it's a tradition back there that I think I started. Um, and we were sitting back there, and I was taking a shit. Like I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm in the bathroom, and over the God mic, I hear Patrick go, "Where is Michael Materdomini?" Right, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" So I start wiping, and he gets back on the God mic and goes, "Please get off of your Switch." I was like, "Fuck!" And I
Oh
walked
my
out there. I was like,
God.
"Patrick, I was shitting." Like, because it's the lesser of two evils in that situation. It's like, dang it, maybe he thought I was on my Switch. I needed to let him know that I was dropping the kids off at the pool. Like I was like, I needed to take a shit, Patrick. I'm sorry. And then our final run, like he was maintaining the wigs some more, and he was like, guys, just come in with beanies. Whoever's wearing a wig, wear a beanie. And I walked out there, and he was like giving this like really nice like we open tomorrow speech, and he was like, "Hey, even though some of the wigs need to be floofed, and some of us look like Hercules Mulligan from Hamilton, insert photo here." Um, and the whole cast knew who the hell it was because everyone went, "Phew." And I was like, "God damn it!" But yeah, I mean, I've had some crazy fucking interactions for sure.
I'm trying to think of when I think of crazy, I mean I think of Kevin Black from the old stage door days. Kevin would always do before a run through because he operates with a dancer's brain, and so he's like, we're gonna do this and this and this. He'll like give 40 million directions at once, or he'll just go, Cat, can you just make me cry in this song and call it a day? And like walk away. And then as he would walk away, he would always go, "May the force be with you," and we would all respond, "And also with you." And so I
Yes, like
think of
the good Catholic children we are.
like good Catholic Star Wars fans. May the force be with you and
Yeah.
also with you. Um, so I think of things like that. I remember, oh my God, there was a funny interaction with him and Johnny at the Carbonell nominees. Like they have like this ice cream like luncheon thing where everyone can like meet each other beforehand. Yeah, free ice cream, whatever. I don't know if they still do that anymore. um
They need to. Free ice cream? Shut the fuck up.
I know
I'll act
it
harder for free ice cream.
it was just like a nice little thing so like people could like talk with everyone and stuff. And his Kevin's nickname used to be Daddy Black. And so I remember going up to him and I was like, "Hey, Daddy Black." And Johnny snapped around and was like, "Daddy Black." Like this whole interaction, it just felt like, am I third wheeling this entire conversation? I gotta go with these two directors. I gotta go.
Daddy.
he was he was he was just like the kink shame of all time in one
Daddy.
moment. I was, Dad. I'm trying to think. There's one with Clayton Phillips when we were doing Chicago, and he walks up to us and he was like, "I want to have like a quick script conference with like the leads." And he goes, "All of you are bad people. Now tell me why that is." And
Damn.
we had to answer. It was about our character, but it was like why we are bad people. But it was just a weird thing. And then I remember like I think the second question he asked me was like, agree or disagree. Mama Morton is a lesbian that's having sex with Val McKelly, and I said true. And so there was clearly like some sort of sexual relationship where like there's give and take, so Velma Kelly can get perks in the prison, Mom Morton can get her rocks off kind of thing. And so there was one day in rehearsal where we were blocking out the scene in between When You're Good to Mama, where I had to watch Velma. So me and Clayton are up on his feet because he's a cool director where he's like up on his feet with you, like walking the tracks with you as he kind of talks through um character process.
Yeah.
Um and like we're doing the scene, we're walking together, and there was a point where we both took the instinct to check out Velma's ass as she walked away. And I was like,
Terrell.
yeah, I was just like, and he was like, yeah, that's the right motivation. And I was like, this is what I'm doing for my job. Okay. And then I'm trying to think, what's another funny or crazy director interaction? Doing the panto, which pantos always are a level of chaos. And I really think the US needs to do more pantos because they're just so fucking funny and stupid, and camp. And so at this point, there was a children's cast that was in, there was the adult, like, principal cast, whatever. There were children that like mainly were like little dancers and stuff in the show. But there was a sequence in the beginning where it was where during the opener, it's supposed to be like, here comes the sun, da 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 da. And so the kids are supposed to like run out, like school just got out kind of thing. And so Neil Pankhurst, who is the director, tiny little lovely Englishman, um, he's talking to the kids about, okay, so we're gonna walk across the way, you're gonna go running like school got out, yay. And so he was like, I'm gonna give an example to these kids, and he's doing this yippee, like all the way across the room. And then I guess the kids went and they didn't have the enthusiasm he wanted, and so this man literally did that run in character as a child, I'd say for about 15 minutes with these kids. And I just remember watching it from the sides being like, how is this real? How is this happening in real time? Just literal like 8-year olds. And then a man like in his, a middle-aged English man going, yippee, stars out. So that's what I think of my crazy director interactions. Also, I think when I did Hedwig's, I believe Sky Whitcomb, he got us these little um toy like shooter things. It was like a unicorn with like a ball in its mouth, and I do remember him like shooting them at us during rehearsal.
Jesus Christ.
So I think of things like that when I think of like crazy director moments.
Fuck. Next question is from the lovely Carl Van Dyke.
Lovely.
He goes, "How? What's your most effective way of saving and making money in between gigs?"
Asking
So,
for more money.
yeah.
um,
Negotiating that damn contract. For
uh,
me, it's just like, yeah, I at one point I had 5 jobs. I was
yeah.
doing the Bubbies showcase at Delray Beach Playhouse. I was directing 2 productions, well, assistant directing 2 productions of Aladdin, and assistant directing a production of Hadestown. So that's 4. And then I
Mm-hmm.
worked my normal job at AZ Voice and Music teaching. So that was 5. And then with the show, 6. So
Yeah,
I
I
try to stuff up my time as much as possible. Like there's some days where I do rehearsal, and after rehearsal, I head straight to my other job and I teach. So it's just about finding your job adjacent
mhm.
and doing continuing to do things that are in your craft,
Yeah.
that help your brain continue to move in different ways. Like as a teacher, I didn't know I wanted to be a director, but then I started doing pieces, and I was like, I really want to fucking direct.
Yeah.
So finding those things that are adjacent to what you do and what you love, I think is the best, at least for me, what I do. And you just gotta fucking grind. Like if sleep is for the wicked, I'm the wicked. I need sleep, but sleep is for the wicked.
Yeah, no, I think it's when I was so I'll be like transparent. I'm staying with my family because I'm usually on the road for the majority of the year. So in the times in between, which is usually when I try to record,
Mm-hmm.
because this is like the time that I have available. Um, so financially, I'm able to save more money that way. I used to like rent in South Florida after college for a while. And I worked part-time at a laboratory while I'd work like 7 to 3. So I can do like night rehearsing shows and then I would take off for contracts. And I did that for like 3 years. And that was a big way where I can keep a constant stream of money coming in. Um, but for me, I try to just book out as much as humanly possible. So that was part of the reason why I left Florida. There's only so many theaters in Florida. And though you can work year round and like plenty of people can do it, I'm not an ensemble person. Like, not that there's anything against me doing ensemble. It's just I don't get cast in those parts.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for people that are dancers, that are more like homogenous in scenes. A lot of times it's like rental packages and people got to fit costume packages. I'm not that person. I get hired for specific jobs. And so and once certain theaters closed down in Florida, that pool shrunk down. So that's when I started looking out of state for work. And now I'm able to work the majority of the year on contract. And in the times in between, like I'll teach like individual lessons over Zoom or so many things, like just all sorts of odds and end jobs. And then there's also like certain things, like when I think about like the tour, like I'm gonna be going to New York for like 4 days to go perform a 15-minute cut of Disenchanted. And like that's a way that I can like get some income. So it's all sorts of like little odds and ends things. So many people will like perform for like events or like I've done concerts, I've done benefit shows, like fundraiser things, and like they'll pay you, $100 for like an hour of your time or like whatever it is. And so you just kind of stack up as many things as possible and then try to live within your means, like realistically. If you need to work more or you need to take certain contracts based on like how much they pay, like you do that. You do what you need to do to benefit yourself. I'm also like I'm also chronically ill, so I can't work like a crazy amount without really getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I do what I can in terms of quality of life. I think for me, I find it easier for me to just try to put money aside and not blow it all when I'm on contract. So then in the times in between, I can live off of it.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, those times it's like you cannot make purchases, you know, and you downsize what you really need. But at least for me and what I'm able to do without burning out, it's easier for me. So you just have to like figure out what is the most important thing for you, like financially, all these things,
Yeah.
like and how you want to your comfort level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool. Hell yeah.
yeah.
Next question. Miss Noah Stephanie asks how to navigate negotiating compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not a good candidate to answer this question because I'm just happy to be there. You know, so if the money gets raised, great. If the money is less, sure. Like I'm there for a good time. So, and I haven't really because I don't have an agent. It's just me,
Yeah.
and I'm a little bit of a bitch when it comes to that kind of stuff, just because like I'm a people pleaser. Um, so when it comes to those types of things, I think you're better suited to answer that question.
Yeah, so for negotiations, there's like a couple things to take into consideration. Like what income do you need to make per week in order for you to sustain your lifestyle, like, rent, if you're not subletting your place out when you're on contract, all these things. You have to think about what's the dollar amount you need to function every month. Um, what is the dollar amount that's worth it for you to take the gig?
Yeah.
Um, if it's close to home and you don't really have to drive a lot and whatever it is, that it can be less than, you have to just decide what financially you need to make this thing work in your favor. Um, so things for contracts specifically, I would take into consideration, do you know this company? How well do you know these people? Are they honest or like forthcoming people with like what they realistically have? Because for a lot of regional theaters that like put up people in housing that have a good set audience base, there is more money than you think there is. So it doesn't hurt to ask as long as you ask in a polite way. It
Yep.
doesn't have to be like a please, sir, may I have some more money? It doesn't have to be like anything like that. But just being honest, like I don't have an agent. I do this all on my own, mainly because I'm stubborn and I don't want to give anyone any more money because we don't make enough money in this fucking business. Anyway, so I'll just tell them like, hey, I also think keeping your um asks realistic. So if this is a mom and pop theater, maybe a 200 seater in the middle of, I don't know,
Um,
Kansas,
Timbuktu.
somewhere small, some of these places they will not have it in the budget. You can say, hey, I need this dollar amount so I can pay my bills and stuff, and they might say this is all we have in the budget, and they can't negotiate a number. There are other things you can negotiate too for your level of comfort. Things like single room, you know, so you don't have to have a shared room because sometimes they do that. Single room with a bathroom. That is important. If you can negotiate things like that, they just ease your mind. You can negotiate for travel stipends. You can negotiate for like a gym pass for your duration of the contract. So there's like multiple things that you can negotiate for, or like getting like extra luggage paid for, things like that. Um, but oftentimes you could just say like, if let's say that they're willing to pay you $500 a week, I wouldn't be like, do you know what I'm gonna ask for? $1,200 a week. That is not a
Yeah.
realistic number for a negotiation.
Yeah.
In my opinion, a realistic number, if they're paying five, is maybe seven. And because they'll counter to a halfway point, which will be like around six, you know? You go in them.
Knowing me, Kat, I would go in there and be like, "May I please have 525?" They'd be like, "Great. Now you'll be making 450." I'm like, "Why did we go down?"
No,
you know?
they're not gonna do that. Like the
Oh,
worst
I
they'll
know.
say is like, we do not have it in the budget.
Yeah,
That's the worst. Like, I mean, like there have been places where I've asked for like they offered me four, I asked for six or 550 or whatever, and they were like, hey, we can't do that, but we can do this, and then we can do this additional thing. And so you just decide like, is it worth it? I mean, like, yeah, you just off ask for a number that's realistic in scale of what you're making. You know, what their offer is realistic in like this grand scheme of things. Also, like I would check and see if they're an equity house, seeing what the equity minimum is, you know, so you know that people that could potentially be in that position, that's what they're making. And so like some equity minimums are going to be around like a 25 or whatever. And so they'll offer you as a non-union person maybe like 550. And so then you go, hey, that's not going to work for me. I need whatever. And then they can maybe bump it up to like 7. So it's just figuring out like cuz some of these places like they'll hire big name stars and they're paying fucking $2,000 a week. They're paying Broadway minimum at
yeah,
like some of these places for even people that don't have Broadway credits. They will pay that. And so you just have to figure out like, does this theater have money?
yeah.
Like,
Read the room and be respectful.
yeah, yeah. And you could say it in a nice way, just like, hey, um, thank you for the offer. So realistically, for me to afford to do this contract, I need to make this dollar amount. Is this a negotiable item? You know?
Cool.
And then they'll usually counter. And then you
Yeah,
can just decide from there. It shouldn't it's one thing I wish that they taught in college more of the contract negotiations.
yeah,
So I understand where it gets stressful and you don't want to like you're everyone's afraid to burn a bridge and stuff. But like a lot of the times it's not like the directors that are doing the negotiation. It's like someone from the accounting company. So it's like not like the end of the world. Like
yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're,
Got it.
it's gonna be
Sweet.
okay.
And last but certainly not least, Natasty herself, Natasha Ricketts,
Mm-hmm.
asks just simply, "What is our dream guest?" Mine is Brian Darcy James. That is my dream guest. I love everything he's done. I want to play every role that he's done. He's definitely a performer that I look up to on the acting side of things. So I think that would be him, and I would love to pick his brain.
I think a dream guest just I have two. Can I say two?
Fuck yeah! Well, it's our podcast.
Okay, so for the cancelable factor of this chaotic show, Jackie Hoffman. I think she would say some really fucked up things on this podcast, and she is so fucking entertaining. Also for the icon factor and the unhinged things, Patty LaPone. I I I really thrive on that chaotic diva energy. And I think that would be a great addition to Non Nonsense. She is our non-union queen. Patty LaPone
Yep,
is
you're
anyway.
damn right.
Come on, Non Nonsense,
She
baby.
is like the non-ec nonsense. Like
She's
it,
the non-ec rep. She's
yeah.
a non-ec deputy.
But realistically, Michael Ursua,
Michael Ursua.
get
This
on this goddamn podcast. It's been long enough. It's annoying.
how about this, Michael? How about this? Come on whenever we end this thing,
You need to be like
the
the
final guest.
end all be all final guest.
And then we all destroy our careers together.
Don't say that. He won't come on. Or hear me out, Mike. We make profit from it. Okay. That is a Patreon only episode.
Exclusive. You pay a ticket
We
to get
split it
that.
3 fucking ways and we take the money and run. Let's do it. Throwing it
Hell
out.
yeah. Hell yeah.
2025 Patreon episode with Michael Ursula. Pay to play, baby.
Fuck yeah. That'd be fucking iconic.
Well, thank you for everyone who submitted questions. We appreciate you taking just time out of your day to send us, over content because we're dead. We are very tired, the two of us. Working our asses off. But
And
glad
let
that
me
I'm
just say that everyone's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" Because by the time this episode comes out, we will have 2 weeks off for the holidays.
No, for real. So happy
But we're
closing,
not there
Anastasia.
yet. We're not there yet.
Happy closing, Anastasia. Don't even haven't even gotten into tech yet. But yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for all the Lynn University students sitting on their couches watching tonight. And thank you to everyone who submitted questions. We love y'all. That's really
You're all unhinged.
yeah, you're all fucked up. Anyways. Thank you for tuning in to Nautic Nonsense. We come to you on your dark days on Mondays. And do you have any closing remarks?
The closing remarks is I don't know. We've got a great episode coming up next with Ashley Rubin, so I'm excited about that.
Yes, Ashley Rubin. Ashley Rubin. Ashley Rubin. You don't know what this means. Yeah, it's dice. And we're going to be talking everything from Frenchie to fucking Disenchanted with her. So it's going to be a full blast. Love Adela by Ashley Rubin. So this has been Michael Materdomini.
This has been Cat Gold.
Stay happy, stay healthy, no COVID.